Hi everyone, hopefully you can see me now. I have restarted the stream and we had some technical difficulties, so in case you missed any content, I'm going to, in case you missed any content, okay, we're live now, so it should be fine now. It should be fine now. Okay, so we've had some technical difficulties. I'm gonna run through the content. And thanks so much for your patience. I apologize for the technical difficulties. So again, really quickly, I'm Leyla Razeghi. I'm a business strategist and I work with purpose-driven businesses. I specialize in products. My background is in the consumer product industry. I used to work in companies as Nestle, Procter & Gamble. I was there for 8 years. And I learned a lot about consumer psychology, how people shop, and how to sell in a better way, and how to solve people's needs in order to sell more. So that's why I'm really passionate about helping smaller businesses do the same thing and use these secrets in order to grow their businesses. So I'm gonna run through the slides because I'm a little bit behind because of the technical difficulties. I'm gonna teach you today is a system for business success and what are the steps to take to create and sell a product, and where do you need to invest your money and where you don't need to invest your money, right? Because there's so many things. When you have a product, there's so many things that you could be spending your money on. And I get questions from clients such as, I wonder if I should make more products. I wonder if I should expand my line of product. And there's so many ideas and things that people will give you. So I want to clarify with you what are the steps and the things that you should be focusing on. All of that, I'm gonna tell you who this training is for, what's my story, and what's my promise for you today. And I'm gonna go really quickly through these first few slides so we can go through the content. If you've already made a product but you're not sure where to sell it, if you already have a business and you want to grow without breaking the bank and investing in things that might be unnecessary. This is for you if you're working really hard but you're not seeing the results that are proportional to this effort. If you've tried to connect your big vision to everyday tasks, so you know what you want but you're not sure what to do every day to achieve it. And if you're not making as much money on your business as you would like yet. And my story is, I'm from El Salvador, as you can see. I moved to Canada in 2009, and Toronto is now my home. I studied engineering. I have 3 business degrees, believe it or not, and I don't like studying, so I don't know how that happened. And I do like numbers. I do like productivity and improvement, and that's why I studied business engineering, and then I studied a master's in strategy and a branding diploma. Knowledge in my current programs. I was sitting in a cubicle for 8 years in corporate until I decided that I wanted to make a difference and work with companies that were actually making a difference and had good products and services that would make an impact in people's lives. When it comes to my promises for today, I'm going to give you content that you can start applying today to make a difference in your business. I'm not here to teach you theory, and I'm not here to teach you other examples of other people. I'm here to teach you specific tips that you can start using right now. I want to help you focus on revenue instead of what I call busy work, which is work that we start doing every day and it doesn't take us far and it doesn't give us results. I want to give you a bird's eye view of the right process to make and sell a product, and where you should be investing your time and money and where you shouldn't. And no question is off limits when it comes to business. So feel free to ask. You guys are already using the chat box, so feel free to type any question that you have, and I will be checking often and answering you. When it comes to my business model, my model for business success, what I work with my clients through is, first, we secure their business foundations. And this is where I see a lot of entrepreneurs making mistakes, is they start marketing and they start putting out their product or service without being clear on what their foundations are. What are these foundations? A clarity on your business model. How are you going to make money? How does your business work? Who are you serving? and what is your pricing, what problem are you solving, what solution are you offering, how are you going to be using promotions, and how are you going to package what you do. So all of those things are really important for you to know, and in a nutshell, what that is the what and the who of your business and the why. And then after we clarify these foundations, we work on launching or relaunching the business and figuring out what are the best ways for you to find your target market. And how are you going to scale your business? What type of tasks are you going to hire out? And what are you going to be doing yourself? That's what I teach, and that's what I believe in for business success. Work starting from foundations, strategies for growth, and during the whole journey, we work on mindset for success, on focusing on the right things, on letting the small things go, on dealing with failure better, or being more positive, and getting organized and showing yourself as an expert. So now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. So we're going to be talking about the steps that you will have to follow in order to sell a product successfully. And a lot of you maybe have already have a product, but this is something that's interesting for you to go back and review. Step number one, when you have a product idea, is research. So you need to figure out if there's really a need in the market. And this is really important, especially when you have a product, because there's other investment costs that are associated with it, and you don't want to incur in them if you're not sure that this would be successful. So you research your target market, your competition, you research the rules and regulations of your industry. If you're entering a new industry, for example, the food industry, there's specific things that you have to follow in each country about what's allowed, what's not allowed to contain in a food product, for example, and also what's allowed and what's not allowed to say. For example, if you use the word natural or organic, there's a series of rules that you have to follow depending on what you have. So it's important to research the industry that you are working on. And the other things that you should be researching are your target market, pretty much. So who are you going to be serving, and how are you going to be serving them? What solution are you offering, and who's going to want that solution? Then it's important to do a little bit of research also on competition. You don't want to get hung up on your competition and follow their steps, because then you stop focusing on your own business. But you want to be aware of what's already out there. And I use the word competition loosely. I don't mean people that are offering exactly the same thing that you offer. I'm talking about any type of substitute for what you offer. For example, I have this funny example that I use on trainings, which is, if I tell you that I want something to put stuff in, I want a bag. You can either hand me a plastic shopping bag, or you can hand me a handbag. And that's why you want to be really specific and figure out what else is there out there right now that other people can be using instead of what you offer. Right? Because, for example, if you have back pain, I can hand you a personal massager, or I can send you to a massage therapist, and both things would solve the same problem. So that's why you want to figure out what's the problem that you're solving and make a list of all the other things, solutions, people, or products that are solving that specific issue. You want to have a clear idea of your costs, and you want to make this as efficient as possible. So where can you source the materials that you need for your product, or the systems that you need to sell it? For example, like the platform that you're going to sell it in, the packaging, and the actual ingredients that go in the product. For example, if you have a physical product like a face cream, you want to figure out where you can where can you find this at the best cost for the best quality. And Meredith was mentioning that her company offers personal growth and business development digital products. So in that case, she wants to figure out if she's going to be offering this virtually or she's going to have a physical CD with the information, and what are these channels that she's going to be offering them through, and how can she find the best and most efficient way to sell this that's cost effective but still saves the quality and that is convenient for her customers. Are you going to be needing a manufacturing facility or a warehouse? Or if this is an information product, what type of platform are you going to be needing? How are people going to pay you, and how are people going to get your course or information product? And that also a huge question to answer is, do you want to sell a few expensive items or a lot of cheaper ones? That changes your model completely, because it changes the amount of clients that you're going to have in your business. Maybe you want to sell some high-end service or package, and you only need 2 clients a month. Or maybe you want to sell a course that's $100, $200. So then you need to really build your network to reach a lot more people. A couple of you are selling a physical product, information products. So for that, when the price is on the lower end, a couple $100, you're going to be needing a lot more clients and to reach out to a lot more people. Mentioning the regulations in the industry are really important. So after you've done your research on how your market works, what your market wants, then we're gonna jump into the next step, which will be design. You're gonna design and package your product. Different products do you want to sell? I would say ideally you want to start with one. That's how the pros do it. And what happens with a lot of people who offer products, and the mistake that they can make is they start extending their lines and offering new solutions before they have secured a space in the market with that one that they have. And if you have a physical product and you want to sell it in stores, whether they're virtual or physical, you want to be aware of the fact that it's a lot harder to list and have a store sell 15 products than it is to sell one. So you want to start with that star product, increase distribution, and you want to put in the market. And with info products, it's similar as well. So how many if you have one option for people starting right away, that will help them make an easier decision, and it'll be easier for you to develop a strategy on how to market it. So I would say ideally start with one, and if you want to do more than that, 2 or 3 are fine, but don't go overboard. Like I've chatted with people that are selling products and start with 10 different ones. And how are you going to position that in a store? How are you going to sell it? Distribution, and you have to spend money in product design. You have to spend money in warehousing. So I can tell you that the idea that big brands, if you see a big brand having 15 different products and you start thinking, oh, maybe I should have 15 different fragrances for the shampoo I'm making, that's wrong, because that's right now. They might have 15 products right now, but the way all the big companies have started is with one. So that I would say is a rule of thumb on number of products. And what features will your product have? And what I mean is, like, what are you going to be including with it? Is it going to be, for example, going back to the example of a face cream, is it going to be hydrating face cream? Is it going to have a cleansing component? And if you have an information product, is it going to have videos? Is it going to have downloadable PDFs? Is it going to include any of your time? Is it going to include any support? So those are all the questions that you want to answer. And that you definitely need to get expert help and support to design your product and its packaging. Because we can't do everything, and you want to get this right from the beginning. Because if you're designing a physical product and sending it to stores, and then you want to do a recall and change packaging, everything gets a lot more complicated. So you want to start small, start testing it out. Like we mentioned, you start with research, and then you go bigger and figure out what parts of your business are you going to be needing expert help and support specifically. step number 3, testing. And this is what a lot of us don't do. We get super excited with what we have right now, and we don't test. And then all of a sudden we have a product that's out there, and we're making 1 million units, and we really don't know if this idea will work, if people find any issues with it. And there's actually a funny story that I heard recently. It's with one of the Kardashians. So I think it's Kylie Jenner that has a lipstick line, and she was selling this like liquid lipstick, and it was in every store possible. And then people started complaining because the applicator that looks like there's some guys here, but the women will know what I'm talking about. So this little applicator sponge, it was breaking right away. It wasn't working, and although they did like the quality of the product, there was a huge issue, and it was everywhere in the media. That right, Lucy? Yeah, all over Twitter, all over Instagram, and like people did like the quality of the product, but they didn't like a feature of it, and she had to do a recall, and I think she was sending everyone new brushes. So you don't want that to happen to you, and if it happens to the Kardashians, it can happen to you. So you want to test, and you want to have a small batch of product. And I would advise to recruit a few product testers on your target market. So get a few manufacturer and get a few people to test the product. And I have some words of warning here. When you recruit people as product testers, you want to be really specific. This is not a free sample. They will need to use this product in the specific way that you tell them, and they need to give you feedback at the end. So this is not a no strings attached sample. I've done this with some clients, and it has happened to us that we've sent these people the product, and then when we get back from them is a message saying, oh, I didn't have time to use it, I'm sorry. And I'm like, okay. So from the beginning, what you have to do is chat with these people and find some people in your target market and tell them that this is how they need to use the product. So going back to the example of a face cream, tell them you need to use it every day for a week. Let me know what the results are. And have they solved the issue that the cream should be solving? Or if it's a course, you can ask people, how did it feel? Like, was there a part that you didn't understand? Did you have any technical difficulties with it? Is there anything that I could improve? And then you'll get the feedback, and you won't be all over Twitter, right? So you send them the product, and you send them a survey asking what they thought. I would highly advise getting a survey before they try the product to see what their current situation is and expectations, and then a survey after they use the product to see what they thought of it and if they have any issues with it or any suggestions. And when you're ready to do a bigger test, consider Kickstarter or getting groups of people or businesses as testers. For example, if you have a catering business for offices, you would want to get a group of maybe 10 offices and ask them to test the service and figure out what they thought of it. And if you have a course, like I mentioned, you would want to have some people and ask them what their expectations are before the course, what did they think of the course during, and what did they think after. So testing is super important, and Kickstarter is the testing of 2016. Because what people are doing is they're starting a campaign and they don't have a product yet. And the main reason behind Kickstarter is to raise money to make the product. But there's a side effect that's really convenient, which is market testing. Because if you have a campaign and no one pre-buys your product, you can see that there's no interest in the market. So it's pretty much people are using it to test their ideas. Okay, I have a question here. Would this be significantly more challenging to test intensive informational products? A 40, 50-page booklet that requires implementation of recommendations. I would say that if you want to do some smaller testing, Lucy, earlier, you would maybe do a sample. Can you do a sample of it? For example, like the concept that I'm thinking of is when people want to sell a book, they usually send a few sample chapters. So I'm guessing, let me know if that's possible for you. If you could do a test with a shorter version of your product before you test the bigger one. But I would advise you to test the bigger one as well, like the 40, 50 page booklet, because before you launch it in the market. And you could, okay, great. So that would work. That would work. Making a sample, and maybe like the first few quote unquote chapters of your info product you could sample. And another thing you can do is if any of you have a product that it requires a really high investment for you and you can't just give it away for testing, you can offer people a lower fee for testing it. What I mean by that is, for example, I've seen people do this with courses. So they have a course that's $500 and they want to test it before they put it out in the market. So what they do is they offer a beta tester price for 50% off, right? So you tell people, 10 people are gonna get this program for 250 instead of 500. And then you're able to do your testing that way, and you're not doing it for free. Because I understand that if it's something that requires a huge investment of time and money for you, you may not want to give it away for free. But yeah, great. I hope that was useful, Lucy. If you have more questions, let me know. And anyone else, please feel free to ask anything that comes to mind when it comes to business. And I'll be checking the chat often. Step number 4. Now you're ready to sell. You've tested your product, you've gotten good feedback, and you've gotten bad feedback, and you have decided to incorporate that bad feedback into improving your product. So now that you've improved it and you've heard what people had to say about it, you're ready to sell, and now you're ready to grow. And some words of caution about this. I want to really, you're welcome, Lucy. I want to really encourage you to focus on selling more of what you currently have. That's your first goal. And I'm going to say it again. Your first goal is to sell more of what you currently have, of the products that you currently have. What I mean by that, it's really easy to get excited and then people start giving you feedback and they tell you that you should be extending your line. And that's great feedback and you take notes of it. And maybe you'll go back to it in the future, but it's not something that you need to implement right away. The way you grow is not by creating 15 other products. The way you grow is by increasing sales of what you have right now. Because what happens when you have products is that you're making an investment for each new product you create, and there's other expenses associated with it. And you also want to see what your baseline sales are. You want to see, you want to allow this one product a few months to figure out what are your average sales per month, where else can you be selling it. And once you do that, then you can launch a second one or even a third one once you have earned that position in the market. And it's definitely a lot easier to start with one. This is different advice than what I would give to people that have services. When you have services, it's good to have different options for people. And the reason why, it's because you want to have like low, medium, high for people to be able to pick and find the right solution for them. In the case of products, because of all the choices that are associated with it and all the costs for you, it's so much easier to start with one. And then you have done your research about where to sell it and distribute it. So now that you're ready to expand, you can start looking for options for partnerships and to enter new channels. So for example, if you've only been selling your product on your website, if it's an info product like a couple of you have, maybe you can do affiliates. And there's websites that are dedicating themselves just to help people find affiliates that are a good fit for their product. And the names of those websites are slipping my mind right now, but I would definitely, I'll post them on the event on Facebook. And so who do you want to affiliate with? Do you want other people to be selling what you have? In the case of physical products, the next step is getting a distributor. And a few suggestions when it comes to getting a distributor for physical products is you want to get someone that preferably has skin in the game, and that means that gets paid by percentage instead of by retainer. Because if people get paid by retainers, human psychology, and they may not make the same effort as if they would be benefiting from getting you more sales. And you want to look for a distributor that's specialized in your area. For example, if you're offering an organic product, you're going to want to find a distributor that specializes in that market. And if you're a small business, you would want to get a small distributor. And that might sound counterintuitive. You might want to have the distributor that Procter & Gamble has. But the issue with that is that you're going to get lost. Bigger companies are going to be paying them a lot more money for their attention, and you're going to get lost. So for that reason, it's better to align with someone that's specific for your area of business that would understand what you're going through. And this is also the time to think about getting new hires and support. I was chatting with someone this morning and with a client, and she was saying how it's really hard for her to not try and do everything herself. And a lot of us try and do that, and I've been there myself. And what I want you to realize is that there's research that shows that if you're not great at something, it can take you up to 10 more times to do it than other people that are great at it. So then there's no point in you trying to do something that you find super, super hard, whether that is design, social media, or logistics, or finances. Really, really consider saver for people that have a hard time being detail-oriented and executing. So now I want to briefly share a story about a client of mine. And her name is Linda. And with her, we worked on a mindset and we worked on packaging. So she was selling her services by the hour. And what we worked on together was on focusing on how could she develop packages so people would work with her for longer and would invest more money working with her. She would have to sell a lot less. So we increased her prices, we worked on her packaging, and we also worked on her mindset. I find that the mindset work can be overlooked, but it's really important for anyone that's entering entrepreneurship because of all of the ups and downs we have. So that's what we did for her. And I have another question. I have been told that 15% is typical when you develop partnerships. If we were going to offer other consultants a percentage of clients they send our way, would this be standard? I don't know about a standard, Lucy. I have seen a lot of different agreements. I've had people offer me 15. I've had people offer me 20 or 25%. And I have participated in events in which we go 60-40. What I would say is it really depends on the amount of work they're going to be putting and the amount of work that you're going to be putting. I think 15 sounds good. It sounds reasonable. You don't want to give them more percentage than what you're getting. So if it's 15%, you want to make it really easy for them to do the work. So my advice would be around two things, more than the percentage. The first one would be on making sure that these people are really aligned to your values and your business, because then their reputation may affect your reputation. So that's one thing. And the other one will be to have a specific agreement on what are you partnering on, so a written contract, and what are your expectations from then for that 15%. So are you going, let me know if you're thinking of just having like a standard referral agreement, or if you're thinking of If you're thinking of having them promote for you or do a little bit more work, or is it because the agreements that I've been in, there's different levels. I've been in agreements in which it's pretty much if I find a client for my friend who's a consultant, they give me a referral fee. And I've also been in agreements in which we're committed to promoting each other. So it really depends on the amount of work they're going to be doing. 15% sounds good to me for what you mentioned, but if you can give me more details on what's the word that's expected from them, I'll be happy to offer more insight. But I don't know if there's, like I was mentioning, I don't know if there's a standard on percentages, because I've seen anything from 10% to 40, depending on the amount of work they're doing for you. Maybe a referral. Okay, cool. Yeah, for a referral, I think 15 is good. 15, 20 would be good. And if they agree to that, that's great. And yeah, so make sure you put it in writing. And make sure, for example, things that you want to put in writing is having some water here. Things that you want to put in writing are these people going to be getting paid when you sign the contract with the new client? For example, because some people might expect a referral fee just because they send you someone, even if that person doesn't sign up, right? So what I have is an agreement. If clients send me more clients, I send them a gift card or a bottle of wine. So you can do it. You can do a physical thing too. So it really a gift. So it really depends. But 15 sounds good. Sounds reasonable. And we're going to talk about focus and why focus is key. You want to build your business mindfully. Bigger doesn't mean better every time. And if they're basically a sales, sorry, I'm going to go back to the questions. And if there's basically a salesman for us and promoting our business, yeah, exactly, because they would be doing more work. So if you're going to be hiring someone that would be a salesperson for you, that would be more money than that, because there's the first thing you mentioned was 15% just as a referral fee in case they come across with someone that would be a good match for you. That sounds good, or someone that could buy your product. But if you want someone that would be a salesperson for you and they're doing work promoting you, going out of their way, 30 sounds better for that. So as you increase the amount of work they're going to be doing for you, you have to increase the percentage. So yeah, 15 and 30 sounds fair for those two levels of help. So focus is key. You want to build your business mindfully and for the right reasons. So what happens is a lot of us tend to think that bigger is better and we want to just grow. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see companies doing when I was in corporate, and I've been a buyer for retail. You're welcome, Lucy. I've been a buyer for retail, and I've also been on the manufacturer side. One of the biggest mistakes that a manufacturer can do is commit to a bigger volume than what they can really sell. So, for example, if you're telling a store that you're going to be making 10,000 products and you fall short and you make 9,000, that's really bad. Really bad. So it's better to have lower sales than to commit to higher sales and have people look for your product and not find it. And this specifically applies to people that have a physical product, but maybe it's also important to people that have an info product. So you have to think of demand, and are you ready to face this demand? Do you have the capacity? Do you have the customer service? Do you have anything you need to serve the market that you're going for? So that's why you want to grow mindfully. I'm not going to say slowly. I'm going to say mindfully. You want to have a forecast of how much you want to be selling, and when do you want to grow and why, and how are you going to grow, and what's the next market you're going to tackle or the next stores that you're going to be selling at. And my advice is, again, one product at a time, one target market at a time. And you don't want to overwhelm yourself with work before you need to get really good at one thing before you think of other ones, and focus on revenue generating. And don't try and invest in like 1,000 different things. The things that you need to invest in are your branding and serving your clients well. So what are the platforms and everything that you need to serve your clients well? I see people spending, yes, thank you, Jared. I'm glad it was useful for you. Grow mindfully, that is great advice. Thank you, Jared. Yes, because when we focus in growing too fast and we don't have the capacity to do that, we crash and burn. We make promises that we can't keep. And when we, people really, really remember when you don't serve them right. So people will remember when they go to a store and they couldn't find your product. People will remain defective product. People will remember when they were looking for customer service and no one was there for them. So it's better to serve 10 people really well than to try and grow from 10 to 1,000 people and have a ton of people complain, because this is human psychology again. Things that are unfortunate about human psychology is that people will remember a bad experience and will share it. I don't remember the number. I think it's 10 times more than a good experience. So think about it. When you go to a restaurant and someone's rude to you, you're a lot more likely to share that on Yelp than when you have a good experience, because that's how we are. So you want to avoid these bad experiences, people having bad experiences with your products as much as you can. So that's why you want to manage expectations, manage capacity, and make sure you have all the support you need for your growth. And you also want to allow the product enough time to grow and sell. Another mistake I see people make is, so I made these cookies and I started selling them at 2 different stores. And then 2 weeks later, I didn't sell any, so I'm closing the business. You need to allow it time to catch on, for people to know what you're doing, and for the word to spread, right? You definitely need some time for all of those things before you give up on your business. And remember, that's why you do research at the beginning, so you have confidence in whatever you are, in whatever you're selling. Lucy says about restaurants, that's always true. More people complain they're thankful for something good and positive. 100%. And restaurants are just one example. That's the case with everything, I find. Everything. It's, if you, for example, like the lipstick that the Kardashian girl had, or Jenner, which is like Jenner, whatever, those people. The lipstick that girl had, I had no idea she was selling lipstick until I read all the complaints online, because we're more likely to look for the bad than the good. That's just how our brain's wired. That's why we work a lot on mindset in my program, because we're more likely as human beings to focus on what's going wrong and the mistakes than the good things in our business. And that really can really affect your mood and the way you work and function. So now we're going to chat about what do you need to invest in. And I've already mentioned a couple of these things already, so I'm going to run through it quick. So things that you need to invest in your business. Research, super important. So going out there and testing it, maybe you need to hire someone that helps you test. And maybe you need to hire someone that helps you design the research, because you need to know what to ask in a survey. And I cover all of these things in my program. I help my clients figure out what questions do they need to ask to their target market, how many people do they need to interview, who do they need to send it to. You want to spend money in your branding, but you don't want to go overboard. You don't want to spend $30,000 in branding. You want to have a logo that looks nice. You want to design a packaging that looks nice. And in the case of info products, you want to have a platform or a website that looks good, that reflects high quality, or your high quality product or service that you're offering. So packaging a website to explain what you do. And these days you can get a website made for $500 that looks pretty nice. So out of all these things, you have to figure out which ones do you want to do yourself, which ones do you want to hire out. And remember that you would want to spend 10 times more doing something that another person can do super quick. So what do you want to hire out? And you want to also have budget to promote. That's super important, right? So how are you going to be promoting it? Are you going to be offering discounts? Are you going to be using Facebook ads, etc.? So that is those are the things that you need to focus on, the steps that you need to go through, and the investments that you need to make. And when it comes to entrepreneurship, This is my famous and popular analogy between the hamster entrepreneur and the squirrel entrepreneur. The hamster entrepreneur is the one that works really hard every day and goes on their wheel, and they run and run and run. They run and run and run, but they're really not going anywhere, right? They're just working really hard. And those are the people that wake up every day, they go on Facebook, they look at all these social media, maybe they write a couple blog posts, but they really don't know why they're doing it. They don't have a strategy. And the squirrel entrepreneurs are the ones that are able to work smarter and not harder, the ones that know where they're going, the ones that have an objective behind every action and everything they do every day, and they end up working less hours, and they end up getting results faster. So the difference between a hamster and a squirrel when it comes to entrepreneurship is in the systems and strategy. And another success story with one of my clients that followed the PON system, starting with foundations, with strategies for success, and with mindset secrets, is Sarah. So Sarah is a life coach, and she needed some business advice on how to package her services and do it right from the beginning. So with her, we worked on figuring out what was her competitive advantage and how could she package this in the best way possible to make more money, and instead of selling like by the hour or selling smaller packages, and how could people get better results by working with her for longer. So now I'm going to explain to you how we can further chat specifically about your business. And this is a special offer for people who have products. This is not something you'll find on my website, and this is not something that I offer openly. What I am doing is I want to create products, like information products and courses specifically for product people. So what I'm offering are 1-hour laser consulting sessions for people who have products. And like I mentioned, this is not something you'll find on my website. This is not something I'm selling. And what we do during this chat, this is a complimentary 1-hour chat for the first 10 people, and the value is $500. This is what I would charge for a 1-hour consulting session. And we speak about how to dramatically improve your sales, attract more clients, and grow your product. What I teach you during this chat comes from proven business strategies from the 3 business degrees I mentioned, so business school and 3 successful entrepreneurial ventures. We'll help you get crystal clear about what's holding you back in getting the results you want, or if you haven't launched yet, we'll talk about what are the next steps for you to launch with success. So if you are interested in getting this 1-hour laser consulting session, please email me at leylarazeghi.com. Or you can also go to my website, leylarazeghi.com/session, to apply. So the 2 options are, I'm going to type it here, me at leylarazeghi.com. You can go on the website or send me an email if you have any questions, and the email to apply, thank you, Lucy. It's leylarazeghi.com/session, and there you can explain on that form that you are a product person and you want to chat with me after the webinar. So this is for me to help out, and it also helps me do some research, figure out what people are needing, people that make products. So I hope that you guys, Lucy, Jared, Meredith, that are everyone else that's live, will take this offer, because I only have 10 spots. And there's no bigger cost for your business than doing nothing. If you have an idea and you haven't applied it and you haven't implemented it, this is costing you when it comes to your purpose. You're not being able to fulfill your purpose. This is costing you in the money that you're not making. If you think that you could be making $10,000 or more a month, those, when you're not making it for not taking action, those are losses. You're losing $5,000 or $10,000 a month. When it comes to your mindset, feeling like a failure, feeling like you're not moving, when it comes to your personal life, family, and social life, not taking action really, really affects your mindset and how you function. why I want to invite you to take action and take me on this offer and this chat. This will be available only for limited time. This is not something I usually do. It's just because I want to learn more. I want to help more people that have products, whether they're info products or they are physical products. You can email me at leylarazeghi.com if you have any questions, or you can apply directly at www.leylarazeghi.com/session. And the next webinar is on June 20th, and the topic is Make More and Work Less by focusing on revenue generating activities. And this is for anyone in year 0 to 3 in business that is interested in taking their stuff to the next level. And as promised on the chat box, I'm going to give you a freebie that is exclusive for people who attend the webinar live. And if you click on the Google Drive link on the bottom of the chat box, you will find a cheat sheet that my clients use to value what they do and to increase their prices. So I hope that is useful for you. It will help you figure out the impact that you're making in people's lives with your product or service, and why you need to be charging more and increasing your prices if that's the case. So with that, I want to thank you so much for taking time of your day to attend this webinar and learn more and participate. Thanks so much for your questions, and thanks so much for your interest in growing your business. That's definitely going to take you on the right path. And I hope to connect with you later through the session. So again, www.leylarazeghi.com/session. And thanks so much for being here and being an amazing crowd. And thanks so much to everyone that's watching the replay as well. And with that, I don't want to take too much of your time. So I am going to be disconnecting the webinar and ending it here. And if you want to continue the conversation and you have more questions, I can definitely answer them on my Facebook group, and that is leylarazeghi.com/worksmarter. Thank you so much, guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to join the free group Work Smarter Crew, and it's leylarazeghi.com/worksmarter. Thanks so much, and have an amazing day, guys.